Hello, everybody. I am Burlington Mayor Marianne Mead Ward, and welcome to this edition of Burlington Matters. And I am so thrilled to be joined today by two of our great restaurant owners. I have Ted Kindos from the Gator Ted's, of course, Tap and Grill, very well known to many of you. There's Ted with his beautiful orange wall in the background. He's sitting at the bar, by the way, and I was joking we should have moved the show to the bar, but we're here. And Mark Hopkins, the owner of the Judge and Jury, where I had my very first lunch out since the reopening began, right on the day. It was absolutely great to come in, and the food is awesome. I can attest to that.
Appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you.
You're very welcome. We got a very nice welcome, so thank you for that. And I know I do, not because I'm the mayor, by the way. I get a nice welcome because that's how you are to all of your patrons. But I know the last 2 years have been absolutely devastating to our restaurants, to people in our hospitality sector. And so I'm thrilled that you are here today to talk to us about what this journey is like. I think your stories are going to inspire people because you're still here, you're still at it, and you found a way to adapt through these crazy times that have been COVID. We know hope's on the horizon. In 2 weeks, I think we're entering the next stage of reopening. But I want to start with what this has been like for you. Let's start there, and I'm going to go to you first, Ted. Give us a picture of what the pandemic has meant to you and your staff and your industry.
4 letters, hell. It's been tough. It's been a 2-year adjustment of open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, spend thousands of dollars on, impermeable barriers between tables, remove chairs, keep people 6 feet apart, contact tracing, temperature control, another thousands and thousands of dollars being spent on. I'm just looking around my room right now, and with all the sanitizer stuff that we bought, temperatures, and it was just it was a major adjustment for takeout only business. Long and behold, the 3 months, I believe it was, maybe even a little longer. It was just, the community of Burlington and surrounding is second to none. We wouldn't be here without the city of Burlington and the surrounding areas. There's not a chance.
No.
To survive on takeout only, there's no way you could have told someone that you can do just takeout only. In our industry.
I'll jump on what Teddy said. He said hell. It was worse than hell, Mayor. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And look at the number of restaurants that have closed. Look at the number that are hemorrhaging. They're not even treading water, and they won't make it. And if you had to draw up a situation for a restaurant to go bankrupt or go into receivership, this is pretty close to what you could do. So not only the pandemic, which was a one-off horrible situation that, as Ted alluded to, the amount of money that restaurateurs spent, was unbelievable. But then you add in the increased insurance rates, the gas prices going up, the raise in minimum salary for your front house people, which, by the way, totally deserve it, absolutely deserve it. Just maybe not during the pandemic. Your dairy, your proteins, your all your products, your fresh produce, all the prices have gone through the roof, and you're forced. And then whatever staff you've tried to hold on to, so many have left the workforce. So now your kitchen staff, your cooks and chefs, half of them have gone to go on to different things. And the ones that you have, if you don't pay them, they're not staying. So between your staff that have been loyal and stayed, which, I know Teddy will agree with me, some of those loyal staff have been unbelievable. And then the people of Halton region, specifically Burlington, that have been over the top. And when I say over the top, they're not supporting the pizza and chicken wing and whatever. They're going to George's Place, Napoleon's, and spending $70 on a filet mignon for takeout. Who would do that? I'll tell you who would do that. People of Burlington would do that. And whether it's the Keg or Pinto's Downtown or Gator Ted's or Dominic's Italian Eatery or Saving Time or Layla's Cheesecake, the people of Burlington have kept us afloat. And for that, I will never forget.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark. I mean, in the beginning, you remember there was maybe just a handful of us that had the takeout because we already had strong takeout programs. And I know a lot of our fellow friends in the business, they just shut it down, figuring it was just going to be, a month, 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
That's right.
And it went on for 3 months, 4 months. So you can imagine the heavy hit they took compared to the guys like us that stayed open. And then the patios open, which, they recouped quite a bit. And then when they closed down again, then they had no choice but to revamp their takeout business to survive a second wave.
Yeah. And again, Mayor, it's not just, obviously there's a dollar and cents thing that you can't ignore, and that is prevalent, but there is a fatigue. There's a social fatigue that happens. And, we don't forget too, regardless of how much support the people of Burlington gave, they had their own problems. We're not the only game in town. There are small retailers. There are, small businesses other than the restaurant that were struggling far worse than us in the travel industry, in the fitness industry. So, as bad as it was for us, and it was horrible, and it still is, it's even worse for others. So we take that with a grain of salt, but know that, that social aspect that, and Gator will tell you, you walk into an empty restaurant for 2 years every day because you don't have any day staff, because there's no prep to do other than what you're doing, because your staff has been either laid off or there's not enough work. And you look around an empty kitchen and you go, what can I freeze or cook? And you don't know what you're going to sell. So you're totally flying blind trying to make the best of it. Half the time, I know Gator, he's taking food to people in need and doing awesome things for the people of Burlington. And that shouldn't be swept under either. Gator, you've done some tremendous things, and we've tried to do the same with, excess food that we've had, bringing it to shelters, bring it to people that need it, do things for the community, because it's either that or it spoils.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, I think your cat has your underwear. It's running right behind you.
He's very entertaining back there, but we are listening to you. But you know what? I remember you saying that, Mark, when we had lunch and you were just saying how great it is. Like, I remember that feeling of walking into the judge and jury and seeing it, well, half packed, right? Because you're 50% capacity, but just hearing the voices and the sound of people's voices being so happy and talking and laughter and I shouldn't have been surprised, right? I mean, I think what you've said about Burlington residents keeping you going and keeping all of us going and inspiring each other. The first day, like the first, you just opened like literally minutes before and the place is packed and people are happy, and to hear those sounds. And when you said that about having to walk into an empty space for months and months, oh my goodness, it grabbed me. I can't imagine. And
you're right, Mayor. And those people that were laughing and having a good time and back there, it's such a great feeling, because those people, those customers, for small business people like Ted and myself and others, they're our neighbors, they're our friends, they're people that support us. We support the community. We're just part of a larger community. So we're so fortunate that we have people like that. And also somebody that shouldn't go unnamed is Trevor, that does the Facebook Restaurant Burlington site. Teddy, he's single-handedly, I think, was it Sandy that he works with?
Yeah, good call. Yeah.
Between the two of them, and I know restaurateurs, probably ones that have absolutely that have put second mortgages on their homes during this pandemic, and that one social network has single-handedly saved a ton of small businesses in the restaurant hospitality industry in Burlington, Teddy.
And he did it at no cost, Mark.
Yeah.
No cost. He just reached out to the restaurants, an Apple guy, and just came out and said, "Hey, I'm building this site. Would you guys be interested?" And everybody hopped aboard, and everybody just ran with it. And he's taken it to another level. I think he's in different regions now, supporting London. Hi, Sue. Supporting London, Cambridge, Kitchener.
You're right.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that he works full time at Mapleview at Apple. So it's not like he's retired and has time to do whatever. He's spent the time and the effort to not only recruit sponsors, like he got Kojiko involved a couple of weeks ago. I think they purchased like $5,000 worth of gift certificates. I know they did some from the judge and some from all over to give out to certain people. I mean, the amount of work and kind of, the time that he invested to put us all on the map has been incredible.
Yeah, we'll give a special shout out. Go ahead, Ted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, he put us in front of people's faces and made a good point of advertising our specials. And, even being part of the Burlington Restaurant Association, the BRA, I mean, Mark, how many times have I borrowed takeout containers, wings, or wing sauce off you, or Dave at the Kerrigan, or Dave at the Swan, or Bruno at Jersey's, or John at the Tin Can, like everybody, or Jamie at Jake's, we're just one huge group that helps each other. And I think, I'm not saying that we never did, but to see what I've seen in the last 2 years for this Burlington restaurants to come together. I mean, I don't know, you can't see my hairy Greek arms right now, but all my hairs are standing on end. And I'm telling you, man, I mean, we're blessed to be in Burlington. That's simple.
You're right. I'm sure, sorry, Mayor, I'm sure that at times the people of Burlington said, the kids go, "Dad, Mom, really? Takeout again?" And yet they continue to amaze me. As a matter of fact, and Ted, you'll concur with this, and I know Jamie and Jake's face the same thing, and a lot of other restaurants, on a Friday night, when you have 50% capacity and you're trying to deal and serve the people that have made the effort to come down to your place, there's so much takeout now that you almost have to put the phones on hold for a couple of hours. And you're in a catch-22 because those are the people that have got you through the pandemic. And so, I hope maybe here they'll understand that, hey, it's not what we want to do, but you have to manage your business because it can be overwhelming, and that it's not a bad thing, but that shows you the kind of, the relevance that the people of Burlington have given. It's just incredible.
Here comes your cat again, Mark.
You know what, you were talking about getting, who would have thought somebody would do tenderloin on takeout? Well, I did for my birthday, that everything got shut down. I'm an early January baby, and everything was shut down. And so we got oysters. We got this 5-star dinner from Martini House, which is right around the corner. They made it up. And I was talking to Barry there, and he said their New Year's Eve, where they had done lobsters and steak and all this stuff, stuff that you wouldn't normally associate with takeout, right? It's not pizza. And I think that's why the kids don't mind, right? Because it's it's not just pizza and wings. I love those, but there's other choices. And we had this amazing dinner in our dining room, right? And supported a business. And he said he had the best New Year's Eve ever, because you get your orders in, and you're not limited then by the space capacity. So, people that have found a way to make it work. You can't do that every day, as you say, Mark, but you can do it sometimes, and just to get through and to have people say, well, not used to ordering lobster through takeout or whatever, but here we go. We're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did want to ask, and you touched on it with Trevor's webpage and the work that he did, and just wanted to talk to you about how were you before on digital online access, and how are you now? Were you already there and you just ramped it up to allow people to order online and do takeout, or did you have to completely pivot to a digital world as well?
You know what, Mayor? I'm digitally, technologically inept. So for me, I'm not the right guy. My partner, he's very good at the social media part. So he was all over that, and I didn't really understand a lot of it. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on all that stuff. He is, and I see the power of it. We went and tried to do. We went with a couple companies to try and do delivery. It didn't work out, and so we left that. But when we were just doing takeout alone, it turned into an animal that was its own entity almost. You had to have the right containers. You had to have, things were all different now. We even tried to deliver ourselves to some people that were infirmed or couldn't make it out or whatever. So we did our best, and it kept growing. And I thought, this is insane. This is not sustainable. You just, it has dropped off a little since we've been back, but certainly the takeout and the digital presence and the social presence through media has also, augmented that and I think made, put us in the spotlight even more than maybe we were before, certainly.
That's great.
Yeah, we're in the same boat too. I mean, Gators was basically, you pick up the phone, you call your order in, you come pick it up. Never used any third parties because of basically the price gouge of 20-30%, and most of them wouldn't even let you adjust your menu prices. But the other restaurant, which is in the same plaza, Barrafion, which did no takeout business whatsoever, and probably like Barry at Martini House, just had to adjust and get all the digital platforms. I mean, at one point it looked like, there must have been 5 or 6 monitors that probably looked like, what's it called there, a space station with all these takeout. It was unbelievable. And then, like Mark said, sometimes from 6 to 8, you just have to shut them down because it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
So,
and crazy things. You go back, Teddy, to a year or 2 years when it was Good Friday, and we're doing fish and chips. I don't know how many you sold, Ted, but I know it was because you showed up at my place and we were talking, and I think, I don't know, we did 500-600 fish.
Yep.
Insane that nobody's ever done. I think we did like 4. We ran out of fish, and we've never done that in 25 years. And all of a sudden, that was the power of social media and that presence. And in that, you take that one particular day where we've never even done 1/5 of that, and all of a sudden it turns into this monster that you can't even control.
Yeah, I'm looking at Super Bowl coming up Sunday, Mark, and I think I'm already there's certain periods between 4:30 and 6 that were completely sold out. Like, I can't take any more takeout orders in that hour and a half. And even though we're open inside, so it still goes to show you that the takeout program is still going strong because, not to toot our own horns, but I mean, when you do a good job at something, I mean, it speaks volumes when people know where to go for a good takeout.
Absolutely.
I did want to ask you about using various delivery services. So I gather from your comments like Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, some of those versus direct takeout. Do you use those, or have you found that doesn't work for you?
You know what, Mayor? We tried one. I think Gator and I tried the same one. It didn't work out for whatever reason. They dropped the ball, so I think they went out of business. Doesn't matter. Then we looked at, I think we did Skip the Dish or one of those ones. The problem is, Mayor, as much as some people say, well, can you deliver whatever? And besides the 20-30% price gouge, in the end, if your food comes cold or goes to the wrong address or they take too much time or whatever, 100 other reasons, it comes back on us.
Oh, gee.
They never call Skip and says, you know what? No. They go, it's our problem. We have to fix it. No matter if we had the food ready and waiting and sitting, it always comes back to us. So as much as I know my partner, he wanted to, because I know that's moving into the 21st century. At one point, he said, "Listen, we've gone this far and done it with people picking it up. I don't want to get people screaming at us for something that a third party has caused. So let's go back to where we are. I know it's antiquated, but let's just do it. And then, people would say, well, listen, I'll drive for it. I said, no, there's liability involved. We don't want to go there. Let's just go back. And we've done it. We haven't missed a beat. No one's complained about it.
Yeah.
Some people the odd time say, I wish you could deliver. Well, I wish we could too, but not at 30 points.
Yeah.
Well, and for us, sometimes, honestly, during the lockdown, it was like an outing. To walk over or to get in our car, like we're out of the house, we're going somewhere, we're actually going to see a human being for all of 30 seconds. There was actually, I remember thinking that when we used to go and pick our food up, it was like this sense of excitement. It's like, man, this is what the pandemic is like, right? I know you wanted to just understand too.
People, no, you're right. A lot of people are just to get the hell out of the house.
And then, Mayor, you're talking about, you're setting this up with a third party. Believe me, in this business, you got enough to worry about did they pick up the food? No, they're late. Did you call so-and-so? Are they delivering outside the zone? Are they gonna have to pay an extra? I don't, Teddy and I would go into the back, we're in the kitchen, we're working hard. We're trying to manage it simply. And then, these things pile up. We don't need the headaches. And sometimes even a small headache can turn into a big one. So that was another reason why, we'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to put that stress on my kitchen. That was number one. I still got the 2 tablets in the back seat of my car sitting there for 2 years that I still haven't plugged in because we were operating from 12 to 8, and I was not putting that extra stress on my kitchen when we're already doing I couldn't do that. And I didn't have enough staff to go past 8 o'clock. So, my hands were tied.
I want to ask about government grant programs. That's my Doug Boston wants to know too. Have you, if you feel comfortable sharing, but have you qualified for federal or provincial? The city had some grant programs to help with personal protective equipment, like you were talking about installing the plastic barriers. We set up a grant program for that too, as well as the property tax waiver if you needed to delay your payments for a while. So have you accessed some of those? Have those helped in your business? I'll start maybe with you, Ted.
Yeah, we tapped into everything. I mean, you guys had, some stuff that I believe came out the first year. I forget what it was called, but went to go pick up the check at the Chamber of Commerce, and then all the other government grants, the SIRS and the SUS that we tapped into, the 10,000, the second 10,000. We're still waiting on the third 10,000, which, is still out there. We applied for it. We've applied for as much as we can. I mean, there was another portal open yesterday for, I haven't had a chance to really look it over, but anything that's available, we've tapped into. Absolutely. You have to.
And Mayor, we've done the same thing. We tapped into whatever was available we have. In the big picture of things, spit in the bucket, unfortunately. I'm not putting it down. It's terrific. Any little bit helps. And I hope, there is some more to come. I mean, it would have been great if there was some kind of a better rent system, a rent, to put off rent or to change it up or to, because that varies a lot. And Burlington is not cheap. You're paying 30 and 40 bucks a foot plus. Man, it does not take long to put your head below water. And many restaurants now, I don't think they've gotten a ton of breaks through their landlord. I'm not really blaming the landlord. They've got to pay their bills too, but it's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, especially the rent is number one. The HST, I think they could have done a better job on postponing the HST the first year. And then, as you know, Mark, we were so busy just trying to survive that if you put in a late filing, all of a sudden now you get a huge bill at the end of the year because you forgot to file a couple months, and then they ding you with arrears on top of that. When Trudeau said, don't worry about HST for 6 months. Well, I forgot about it for 6 months. Then I get a bill for like $8,000 from CRA.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you can't win, and then you look at your hydro bill and your water consumption, And you look at Burlington Hydro and go, come on, guys, cut me a break here. Like, can you not get me on some kind of a monthly plan instead of dinging me for $5,000 a month? And there's not a single person in the place, and I'm doing takeout, and I'm still getting $5,000 a month hydro bills.
Yeah.
Come on,
Right.
man. You know, the gas bills, you know, everything was coming in. Everyone wanted their money, all the suppliers, everyone. And, you know, I can't say these words, you know, on this call, but there was a pile started with a nickname, and, you know, they all went into that pile. And I told them the keys are in the mailbox. It's all yours, man.
Yeah. I mean, at one point, sorry, Mary.
We're almost out of time. We're almost out of time. And I just want to say thank you for being on the show and for sharing. And I think we have about 30 seconds each if you have one thing you want to say about where we're going, and then we got to wrap up. Mark? I'm
going to say, and I'll speak for Teddy and then he'll speak for himself. The one thing to take out of this is there's a lot of people worse off than we are. The staff has been crazy loyal and we owe them a ton. But the people of Halton and Burlington and surrounding area that have stepped up, you know, people that have never been to our place, people that have, you know, that are ordering stuff that they probably didn't even want to order. But you know what? They did it because we are their neighbors. We're their friends. We're a part of the fabric of the community. And they're keeping us relevant and they're keeping us in the game. And we'll never be able to express enough thanks for that. Well said. Ted?
Yeah, I am exactly, you know, word for word from Mark. I mean, I can't thank the staff, you know, enough to keep the doors open to the point where we are now. The city of Burlington, the surrounding areas, Halton, I mean, you know, thank you for everyone. I mean, I even put out a full page ad last summer just to say thank you, Burlington. Like, thank you.
You're a good man, Teddy.
You too, Popper. Can't wait to retire, though.
We're going to leave it there. I want to thank both of you. I told you folks watching that you would be inspired. I hope you feel as inspired as I am. I'm signing off, Mayor Marianne Mead Ward. This is Burlington Matters, and I want to thank my guests once again, Mark Hopkins from the Judge and Jury and Ted Kindos from Gator Ted's, and do some takeout tonight. Thanks, everybody. Or dine in.